Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right. I know I'm like 2 minutes late. I apologize. But here's the thing. Today is the biggest day. Today is the Federal Open Market Committee's statement. It is the statement where they are expected to cut rates. It is the biggest day ever in markets, apparently. And you know what that means? Do you know what that means, folks? That means that nothing interesting is going to happen. That's what it really means. That's usually what it means. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we have a good market today, but we shall see, won't we? Well, the market is pretty range-bound overnight, if we're honest. How many ticks is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tick overnight range. That is something else. I have shared your channel with quite a few interested people, really. Well, thank you very much. Did you watch the video about Andrew Yang? I think you did, because I got a couple of likes on that video last night. Can we discuss the debate if nothing happens? How was it? Yes, we will absolutely discuss the debate. Let's hold on just a second, though. Let's make sure that we got all our ducks in a row first, right? So I don't... Is there some news this morning? Okay, we had ADP. Let's see here. It came in at 156, and 150 was the expected number. Didn't appear to move markets. Here in 6 minutes, we get employment cost index, which could be a decent number. Oh, at 7:45, we have Chicago PMI. Okay, remember that the Chicago PMI number, if I recall correctly, yes, data is given to MNI subscribers 3 minutes before the public release time listed on the calendar. So at 7:42 my time, we'll get the Chicago PMI. I do not expect markets to move very much until then. So let's pull up the Discord here. Make sure that we got all that in there. Seems Bernie was put in place. I don't know. That's interesting. That's what you're hearing. Waits for Seth to show on the stream with the tie. Okay. So, the debate. Let's talk about the debate. So, my take on the debate is that in terms of candidate placement, probably did not significantly change a whole lot. Yeah, I know, disappointing, right? I do think that Bernie probably acquitted himself fairly well, and I think that debate will stem some of the bleeding. On the other hand, I think that liberals are going to really like Elizabeth Warren's combative attitude. But I think that my larger takeaway, and a lot of people were trying to say this after the last debates. Remember everybody being like, oh, the biggest winner from this debate is Donald Trump and yada, yada, yada. But I really think that debate in particular did serious damage to the Democrat Party. CNN tried to be tough with the questions, especially at the very beginning. Ooh, look at that move. 2 ticks down on almost nothing. Well, you might maybe buy that one, but I think that it's probably best to stay out. But you could maybe buy that at 12. I don't know what why they moved it like that. That's kind of weird. I guess I should keep up my Twitter here just in case something crazy happens. And so it's kind of weird. And look, there's an iceberg at 12. We'll see. So that's somebody's making an awfully big bet there. E-mini is moving up a little bit too. Maybe somebody got caught wind of something and we haven't seen it the rest of the markets yet. That Bitcoin moving up again today. I think we'll keep that Bitcoin up though. Anyways, so the thing is if I look at like who appeared to do the best, who appeared to be speaking the most to the emotion, the heart of the Democrat Party yesterday, who was getting the applause lines, who seemed to acquit themselves well and understand how to perform in a debate like that and everything like that, it was Marianne Williamson. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say that. Can you imagine being in a debate, as I tweeted this yesterday, can you imagine being in a debate, losing a debate to Marianne Williamson? Like, it's just, it's mind-boggling to me. But she acquitted herself well. And it actually kind of scares me, because here's the thing. She did better than yesterday, or than last debate. Like, she got better. She's been practicing. Okay, so what is going on here? We have the news here in a minute. Okay. I'm surprised that they're polling this much. Anyways, she did well in that debate, and she's like getting up there talking like a preacher and saying crazy things. All right, so if that's your best performance at the debate, you're in real trouble, man. You're in real trouble. And especially at the beginning, CNN tried to chip away at some of their talking points and claims and things like that. And I do not believe that the Democrats acquitted themselves very well on it. And not only that, but pitting them against Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren came out extremely aggressive. Okay, here we go. Okay, tick up. Quite a few orders coming in here. I'm not getting a number over Twitter yet. Let's see if I get it on Forex Factory. Not yet. Come on. Come on. We're looking for a reading of spot 7. Okay. Spot 6 versus an estimated spot 7. So that means slightly less inflation, more likely to move up. The market did not move extremely strong off of that, and so no trade. No trade for me. Anyways, yeah, I think the whole Elizabeth Warren getting aggressive thing is going to play poorly in the long run. And I think that Elizabeth Warren has now opened the door from it used to be, Democrats are kind of crazy and losers and they're not going to win this election. And you can even kind of see some of them preparing themselves for it. Like Pete last night saying, like Russians shouldn't even be able to affect an election. And then it's like they're preparing themselves for it to happen again. Like he's talking like, well, we're probably going to lose again, and it's going to be because of the Russians. They're preparing themselves for loss. But now it's turning into they're dangerous. Because Elizabeth Warren is turning into a radical ideologue that you can paint as dangerous. And frankly, the way that she was talking kind of scared me a little bit. So I don't think you want a person like that in office. Anyways, so that was kind of my take on the debate. I don't know if let's go and check out InTrade, not InTrade. That market's dead. Predicted is what we use, right? Let's go check Predicted and see if there was any changes last night, huh? Well, I want to see. I want to see the nominee market and just look at the past 24 hours. Not much of a change. They're all still ranging. We had Sanders and Buttigieg, and nope. His name is Buttigieg, but to me it looks like Buttigieg, but it's Buttigieg. I don't know. It's a weird. I just don't see how you win an election with that kind of a name, but whatever. Okay, biggest polling bump and decline. They're gonna say, okay. Ooh, was there a flip in the Andrew Yang market? There was. Look at that. He went down, 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 down. I'm looking at the things that Andrew Yang was tweeting yesterday. Did not really sound to me like somebody running for president. Just me, the great judge of booty. It is, like, honestly, if he wasn't gay and he didn't have a crazy name, he would probably be like number one in the primary right now. Like, no kidding. like really the big thing holding him back is that black voters don't like that he's gay. Which is, I mean, it's just crazy to me. I think that they could get over it, but man, I don't know. He acquits himself very well on stage, I think. I think that he needs something a little bit more. I think that he still needs that little spark. He doesn't seem to have it. It was kind of starting to feel a little cold yesterday, but I would still put money on him, actually. I think that as things narrow down, I think that he could do better. So let's see here. Uzi gave us some numbers. Selling below 154.23, downside targets 154.20 and 13. While we are at that low, it's kind of interesting how we came down there for the news. That might have been some position equalizing just before the news, though. Anyways, we wanted to see if these... See, I don't think... Well, okay, Warren actually picked up a little bit after the debate, it looks like. I think that was during the debate right there, right? Looks like Warren did pick up a little bit, and Harris lost a little bit. Biden... What about Sanders? Sanders didn't move. The thing that I also recall is the Twitterati. The Twitterati really liked what Warren was saying. So, Wynn says, Mayor Pete is a gentle soul, but he went to war. He may be the most spiritual and religious of the candidates. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, he uses that in his messaging at least the most. But that's because, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they focus tested it. You know, if you think about it from oh wait, hold on. I'm being a little ADHD today. So who's this? This is Sanders came down in terms of getting the biggest decline, and Biden is still riding high. I actually think you could sell that. You could probably sell Biden, but anyways, didn't look like too big of a change. So here's the thing. Think about it from a historical perspective. In my view, or at least from my observation, the thing that really set the Democrat Party, that really kind of gave them the boost over Republicans during the Bush years, was the fight over gay marriage. 100% it was. Because while I think a lot of people do feel that it's not really the same thing, and I think that there's still a lot of people that think that the institution of marriage should be protected and things like that. But I think that the majority of people feel that the need to be kind and fair to everybody is stronger. And so they really latched on to the Democrat Party because of that. And so for Pete to be coming in and saying those things, he's basically speaking to the heart of why many of the people, especially the younger people, moved over to the Democrat Party during, the 2000s, essentially. And so he does really well when he's going in like that, right? But then when you watch the debate, it's kind of like, it's just street policy, and it's just kind of boring. CNN was on the ball last night with that stuff. Yeah. Well, now that's another really interesting thing, was that CNN did not do what the other networks do, where a candidate starts talking and they let the candidates talk over them and they let the candidates keep going. No. If a candidate tried to go over their time, they cut them off, said, thank you. And they just, and any candidate that wanted to try and extend their time looked dumb when they were doing it. And any candidate that didn't take into account how much time that they had to speak looked bad, I felt. And I thought that was good of CNN to do. I don't think that 15 seconds for a rebuttal is enough time, but those are the rules and they agreed to them. So I liked the way that CNN ran the debate. Democrats did not. Democrats on Twitter hated the way that debate was run. And yeah, I think the best viral moment was when Bernie said, I wrote the bill, and raised his arms. What a drinking game when Bernie raises his arms if I drink, right? I don't understand why he does that. I don't know. If I was a debate, well, I mean, the thing is that it's so much part of his persona at this point that he probably is stuck into it. But if I was coaching a new candidate, I would be getting them to try and do something else. Like usually they do the thumbs up thing, right? You talk like this. That's the one that everybody knows, right? But this thing it makes you look like a crazy old man, Bernie. Makes you look like a crazy old man. But I have to say, if you go back and you watch anything, go and watch Marianne Williamson's closing statement. Oh my gosh. She is crazy. She is straight up crazy. You ever watch the movie There Will Be Blood? It's a good movie. It's a little violent. It's not for kids, but I like it. It's a good movie, and I think it'd be a good movie for traders. And basically, the gist of the movie is there's a guy, and he wants to make money, and he is like a psychopath, basically. And he does everything to make money, and he finds oil. But the oil is on the land of this guy, and this family. And so he basically has to huckster the family into selling him the land. And this boy of the family ends up becoming a preacher in the town. And the preacher, the boy, is also a psychopath, basically. And he gets up and he gives these sermons and manipulates people. And man, that preacher in that show is so creepy, and you hate him. And then I don't want to ruin it for you, but at the end there's a conclusion that is both satisfying and highly disturbing. And when I hear Marianne Williamson talk, she reminds me of the preacher in There Will Be Blood. There's just and to me, it is highly disturbing that you have a candidate on stage channeling that kind of energy in a debate. It shouldn't be allowed. She should not be on the stage. The Democrats are complete idiots for letting her up there. They should have changed the rules. Whatever percentage she was at, they should have set it 1/10 higher. Not even kidding. I know that that's like manipulating things and not fair and everything, but come on, you cannot have something that is a huge liability to your party, and you got to wonder. She's been speaking to the Democrat Party and they've been liking her, but you got to wonder, what is she going to say when she's emboldened? What is she going to say when she's feels comfortable going into her more unorthodox views? You know what I mean? I'm not comfortable with it. And the thing is all of the Republicans are boosting her. Everybody's like, she's entertaining and she's crazy and she makes everybody look crazy, and we should continue to have her in the debate. And I even did a little bit of that last night, but after having slept on it, she scares me. And I don't think that we should be going anywhere even close to entertaining that she could be president. She's just, oh man, you don't want to popularize candidates like that. She's dangerous. Oil by Upton Sinclair. It starts Daniel Day-Lewis as a silver miner turned oil man, ruthless conquest for wealth during Southern California's oil boom of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Paul Daniel, Kevin O'Connor, Syrian Hinds, Dylan Fresner also feature in the helm. Yeah, I don't know if there's really any like super big stars in that show, but the acting is really great. And oh man, it's a really good movie. It's a really interesting movie. And it's a disturbing movie. It's the thing that the way that the end scene goes down it's not anything complicated or anything, but it's just watching it for some reason is extremely unsettling. It's a good movie. I should go watch it again. I agree with what you say about the image and visuals that she represents. Not comfortable. Can you imagine explaining her at the Farm Art Guild, even if she was on Oprah? Daniel Day-Lewis starred and he played Lincoln. Oh, that's right. I watched that movie over the weekend and I really liked that one. I really like, or I'm finding that I really like historical movies. Although I don't think that There Will Be Blood was intended to be a historical movie, but it kind of had that feel to it, It was a good movie. Well, I got a signal here that indicates that you could potentially reverse a 12.5, but it has gone sideways since then. So I think that there's a good possibility still that it reverses. You maybe could get filled at 12, but so far you wouldn't have been filled at 12. But it seems to me that there is Chicago PMI today, and that's a pretty big number. And I don't think that the traders are willing to stick their neck out for it. So even though there was some action there, and maybe what happened was there was some action and not enough people bid. So it's just kind of going sideways. Oh, what did Win say? I missed one of this comment. He has been a crazy old man since he was 10. Oh, man. Anyways, the other thing on the debates is that the first debate really was kind of the kiddie debate. I mean, I know that Bernie and Warren were in there, but it was like basically the two progressive activists against all of the no-namers. And whereas the Biden and Harris and the rest of the serious candidates were put in the second day. And I think that you're going to see much more interesting debate today. Okay, question. Because the Fed will announce later today, will everyone hold off on any trading until the announcement is issued? Could that make for a slow day at the casino? Well, it can. So here's the thing, is that when there's a big news event, that absolutely makes a lot of people want to save their ammo for later. But On FOMC, there's kind of this strange tendency for the market to know what the FOMC is going to do before they do it. So it's not uncommon for the 3 days before the meeting to see strong trends. Now I say it's not uncommon because I'm not even sure if it's more likely than not. I'm just saying we have in the past few years seen some really good moves on FOMC day. Totally happens. I'm kind of the feeling at the moment that the Federal Reserve might be a little hawkish, more hawkish than expected, because even though they're being dovish, I feel like they're only being dovish because the market has basically forced them into it. I think that their natural instinct, their gut still wants to be hawkish, and so I wouldn't be surprised if in the meeting minutes, or I think that we get the press conference afterwards today, don't we? Yep, we get the press conference today. I guess the press conference is every time now. I wouldn't be surprised if he says something that to the effect of that things still look really good, right? And so there might be a trend down. It's still a possibility. And when these things happen, they start really slow and sneaky. And then all of a sudden, they'll break a critical level, and then all of a sudden it's on. But the other thing going on is the Chicago PMI, and I really think that the reason it's quiet right now is the Chicago PMI. So probably we'll get PMI there. If it's a number, out of line with the expectation, it could certainly move markets quite a bit. So we'll see. Let's see here. The moon today is in a waning crescent phase. In this phase, the moon's illumination is growing smaller each day until the new moon. During this phase, the moon is getting closer to the sun as viewed from Earth, and the right side of the moon is facing the Earth with only a small edge of the moon being illuminated. This phase is best viewed for 2 hours of the surface, and it can be quite beautiful if you're willing to get up early. It can also be a great time to see features of the moon's surf. So I was under the impression that tonight was a super black moon, which is to say that it's going to be completely black. You won't be able to see it at all, and that the moon is also to its closest point to Earth right now. So if you're in the United States, you can view that tonight, except for that you won't view the moon. What you'll do is you'll view everything else, because it'll be a lot easier to see things like the Milky Way and so on and so forth. So there you go. I'm still looking at this event that happened. It was which bar did that? It was long after the news. I'd say it was long after the news. But this will be interesting to watch when we get the heavy interest in something and then it goes sideways. What tends to happen? Are we going to get like a real move coming out of it? Could do. I'm going to have to be skeptical though. What's this on Twitch? Notifications. Oh, we completed another path. What is it? Get 5 people chatting at the same time and reach 50 followers. Oh, really? Oh, well, Lynn is viewing on Twitch. Were you viewing on Twitch last night? I thought you were on YouTube. I don't recall now. Also, Luke is saying this seems like spread paradise. I mean, yes and no, because you could certainly get filled on your spreads, right? But, I mean, look, the spread hasn't really moved a whole lot overnight, so I don't know. Should check here. The move down may be just them trying to move into yesterday's point of control. There's much further down there in the ZP. Yes, had a pretty good sell yesterday. Interesting. Oh, okay. When was on YouTube last night? Yeah, so I'm sitting here wondering, like, when was, because we usually don't have a ton of viewers on Twitch. I think Twitch is a little bit faster, actually, but most people find us through YouTube. So I'm sitting here like, when did we get 5 people chatting at the same time? I can't recall. Do you know that, I've done almost everything over here. Like in terms of, let's see here. Path to partner, path to affiliate. What is it begins? Oh, it begins. Oh, okay. Path to partner is the one that I'm not even close on. What do you have to do? You have to get an average of 75 viewers. Yeah, we're not even close. Not even close. Probably never will be. And even if they wanted to make me a partner, I don't think I would do it. Twitch offers more characters. Well, there's more people on Twitch, right? But the advantage to YouTube is you can get more organic traffic. Basically, almost nobody is going to discover you on Twitch. Almost nobody. But on YouTube, it's like if somebody's interested in trading, it's going to say, hey, there's this guy streaming right now that's doing trading, and we get a lot of people from that. So the majority of our people. And it's summer where we've been fairly light still. But yeah, on Twitch, if you want to become a partner, you have to you have to sign an agreement that you'll only stream on their platform. So yeah, I don't think that would make a whole lot of sense. Plus, the advantage is like what you can run ads and you can get subscribers or something like that, and it just doesn't. Doesn't attract me. In the personality typing community. So you're saying that the whole Myers-Briggs thing, that is like there's a community of people out there going around and finding people and saying this person is like an INTJ, and if you like that kind of person, you can go and watch them. Is that like kind of what you're getting at? Kind of trying to look here to see. It's kind of funny. Oh, you know what? We should change the title here, by the way. We never changed the stream title, did we? Control C. 31st. Life-sized memes. Oh man, Seth memes. That's what we need, right? Hey, Algo Lover, how's it going? Now we did sell off pretty good yesterday in the E-mini, didn't we? So I thought his level yesterday worked pretty well. Or maybe should have just sold it there, huh? I hope I missed all the political stuff. You pretty much did. See, that's one of the tough things about streaming, right? Is like, I mean, I think if you're a streamer and you want to get started out streaming, and it's like, okay, what would be like the best advice to somebody? And the best advice that I would give is you got to be yourself, which is to mean that in the majority of the time, the reason that people end up watching a stream is because of the personality. And there's something about that personality that people like. And, the more popular that personality is, the more people that are going to watch that stream. We could see if I was in the gaming, and then we could maybe see how well you do, because most of the people that watch streams are into games. I don't suspect that I would do amazing, but you never know. There's some people like weird stuff. Anyways, but you got to be yourself. So part of that is you got to be genuine about your opinions. And sometimes if you have an opinion that is not popular, that can be a positive thing. You ever know, like they had this thing on Tinder, and they said, okay, if you're a girl and you're like pretty and you have like the average standard face, you tend to do okay. But that girl usually only gets to like the 75-80% range. And if you want to be the person that gets like all the matches, like the people that are up in the 90-95 percentile, and just everybody really, really likes, there's always an off thing about them. Ace is already looking for a short, huh? You think that yesterday's selling is going to continue through today? I'm interested why he's looking for a short. And at 18 too. Well, you know what? It is kind of the time and place. There's a little bit of selling. Well, I'm going to watch it. Okay. Anyways, but as I was saying, there's usually something about them. So like if you were a pretty girl, but you had like an edgy look, or like a gothy look, then that would cause people to really go for that particular person. There always had to be, that little thing that gives you edge. And that little thing that gives you edge is something that tends to turn off a certain number of people. So it's kind of like in order to step up, or, in order to do really, really well, you have to let those parts of your personality that maybe some people don't like, and so like for me, I'm a Republican. Absolutely. And so I know, Democrats are probably not going to be as interested in me, but that is me. Best advice by the ZB. Well, it totally went there, didn't it? Well, I was saying, I don't think that you would have gotten filled at 12. So let's say you got filled at 12.5, you would have gotten 2 ticks in ZN. Maybe worth it. ZB really went though, and that means that we are flattening a little bit here. That's kind of weird. Initial balance holds test of the high possible. Let's see here. There are people who watch live streams and do naughty things to them. Some people watch and tell everyone why the creator is wrong. Some people are seeking a purpose and want to engage in the community, belong to a team. Yeah, well, and I think that most of the people that come into our stream, it's the last one. Is like, we're traders, and I trade something. The instrument that I trade, it's the most liquid, slowest moving instrument. There's some real advantages to that, but it's boring as all get out. And I think that most people that trade treasuries, you don't run into very many people that are interested in that. You know what I mean? And so to be able to find a community like we've created here on the live stream is really big for those people. And we have like a really solid community. I'm always quite surprised if I go and I look at the stats. Almost every video gets up to 100 views. The audience that is viewing the videos is pretty consistent. I think that a lot of people are using the videos to watch the order flow. and practice afterwards or whatever, or trying to interpret what was going on. The people that come into chat, it's the same people literally every morning. Like, it's an incredibly dedicated, loyal audience. And I don't really think there's anything particularly special about me either. I just happen to be the first guy that really started doing that, and the only one on that instrument, and all of that. But I think it's totally the community part of it. Every once in a while, people will come in and want to, joke around with the live stream. We usually get at least one troll a day. The pace of your voice is easy to process. The guys on TV from the city talk fast and think smart, but their pace is frantic. I like the ladies on CNBC. I haven't seen CNBC for a long time, so I don't really know who's on there right now. I remember when I first started trading, a lot of what I learned from watching CNBC, because I would use Thinkorswim, and inside Thinkorswim, they have like a CNBC live stream. And so I would watch that. And I remember Erin Burnett was so good. My voice is cracking a little bit this morning. Erin Burnett was so good at her job. I mean, not only is she just gorgeous, but she was a serious analyst. The little stories that she did about individual companies or things happening in the economy and stuff like that were always so good. It was no surprise to me at all that she got to move over to CNN and got her own show. But of course, now that she has her own show on CNBC, it's kind of like not as interesting anymore, because you don't get to, she doesn't get to really showcase her specialty, which was the business analysts, but whatever. So Ace did take the short at 18. But it doesn't look like we got the full point yet. When I was looking at it, I just didn't quite see anything that stood out to me. I should have just taken it because Ace did it because he's almost always right. He's so consistent. And then Uzi points out that we're back to that initial balance too. I think that I'm probably better off not clicking on anything, because I think that I would go crazy. Like, I'm feeling a little impulsive. I think it's interesting that when it says that my voice is easy to process, because especially when I'm making the videos for like the ones that I edit up and, are for more long-term things like the education videos, sometimes I think that I talk too fast. But and I also kind of feel like that ever since I've been on Sterterra, that I'm much more on edge than usual, Without it, I was like way too laid back. Well, we are getting a slow trickle of people coming in today. I think we could have a good market here when the PMI comes out. Gonna get 16 in ES? For me to sit down and say I should have taken that in the E-mini, we have to get at least 16. I should also point out that us coming back down to these prices, not much activity at all coming back down. It just kind of did it. So that says to me that yes, there was a reversal there, but it wasn't worth playing. So I'm wondering here, we actually got a lot of views on the debate commentary last night, which is kind of interesting. our top 5 trading books video was doing really well yesterday and almost beat out the Should You Try the Top Step Combine video. And then this morning there was a ton of people came in and watched that video instead. And I watched that video and it was like so like sulky. It's interesting that that's the video that people are interested in. Anyways. I find the stats and when people come in and watch and stuff to be really interesting. Maybe Win really has been posting the link around because I kind of see some aberrations like views at times that I normally don't get views and stuff. So what's going on here? Now they're going to push the low? They've come back down here very quickly. And this could be the kind of move that really tricks a bunch of people into going short and immediately reverses on you. If we really see some people pick this up, I mean, there was a little bit there at 12, but that might be why it's down another tick or two. Wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of push to the lows and then reversal. And it appears to be the ZB that's moving it too. Very, very curious. Overall activity in the market is still really low, though. Okay, so the overnight opening range low was at 19, so we got to get below 19, right? In CB. Let's see here. And check. Treasury announces record coupon auctions and latest refunding. That might be what's moving us. If 23 holds the offer, we're good. Oh, okay. Well, ES still hasn't touched our 16, and there was a bit of a volume spike there. IQ says CB is going to stay in range until FOMC. I think that we're having some news move it. Two days after the Treasury announced that in the aftermath of the debt ceiling deal reached last week between Trump and Democrats, it would rapidly rebuild its cash balance back up to $350 billion by borrowing $433 billion in debt in the current quarter. A massive $274 billion higher, or more than doubling its prior forecast announced in April of 2019. That would cause them to sell. Because that's more, the government's taking on more debt. That's more risk. It should make the yield higher, which means that the treasuries are going to trade down. That could totally be why we push down here so aggressively. Let's see if we get a little pullback. funding process is significantly tightening up liquidity in the banking system and potentially resulting in turmoil in funding and money markets as the world is flooded with an issuance of T-bills. The Treasury issued its quarterly funding statement in which it revealed that it will keep its auctions of nominal coupon and floating rate debt at a record this quarter as the U.S. budget deficit continues to grow. Specifically, the Treasury will offer $84 billion of Treasury securities matching the amounts sold in each of the last 2 quarters to refund approximately $57.3 million of privately held Treasuries maturing on the August 15th, 2019. Which will raise new cash of approximately $26.7 billion. The balance of Treasury financing requirements of the quarter will be met with the weekly bill auctions, cash management bills, no auctions, blah, 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 blah. The U.S. government is scrambling to finance the soaring budget deficit, which is set to surpass $1 trillion in coming year as Donald Trump is set to approve a bipartisan deal to suspend the debt limit until mid-2021 and boost spending. As a result, Wall Street analysts are predicting that auction sizes will need to be lifted again within about a year's time. Ugh. Meanwhile, commenting on their latest debt ceiling deal, members of the Treasury Borrowing Advisory Committee wrote to Steve Mnuchin that they were pleased that they were able to negotiate a debt limit suspension bill with Congress well in advance of the deadline and are optimistic that the bill will become law in short order. It was noted, however, that this would mark the 7th debt limit suspension in less than 7 years. Okay. It's definitely something that pushes us down, but I've found in the past when these sorts of things have happened, you'll see we've had spread moves and individual trades come in, but that they were short-lived, like only mattered for a few days or weeks or a week. We should have been saving and setting aside money during this remarkable 10 years of recovery. That would be nice if we were actually making money to set aside. But the government is barely making enough to pay off its current debts. It's a real problem. I mean, the fact of the matter is, we simply cannot fund this debt without significantly better GDP. This is what happened with the tax cuts. Instead of trickling down, they tucked the money away. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, you can't just tuck the money away, right? Can't these investors that big, they can't just put the money under the mattress, right? Now, if all of the money was going into treasuries, that would be bad. But it seems like that's not what's happening because, treasuries are moving, have been moving down up until this past year. They were being pushed into markets, which is good. And there has been a lot of like the tax refund thing. So companies put that into buying their own shares, which is basically just returning money to investors. And then hopefully the investors turn around and they invest those in good companies. But if that's what's happening, then you're not going to see the effect for a long time. Because think about it. We're saying, okay, they've invested money. How long does it take for an investment to really yield significant gains in a stock? It can be several years. You might not see it until like 5 years down the line in some cases. And so it's probably way too early to say. Although I did see a study the other day that kind of suggested that the depreciation, so like if you own a building, the building, over time is becoming older, and so you can mark that down as a depreciation. And you can also do that with printers and computer systems, and it looks like that depreciation is a pretty significant part of why growth has been as low as it has. I'm wondering if that money is just going into maintaining current things, and they really aren't getting that investment in growth. Possible. It's almost impossible for me to really know at this point. We'd have to just wait and see. But the bigger issue here with the government spending is like, if you look at the numbers, they're actually making more. I haven't checked it in a while, but they were actually making more than last year. Like with the tax cuts, it was supposed to be revenue neutral, and it looks like for the most part it was. We're still making more money than last year, but they also increased government spending significantly. And it seems like what they're doing is, okay, they wanted the military spending, so they got that, and they were willing to pick up more to get the military spending. Okay. But then they're saying, we're not going to do anything until the end of the next election, essentially. So unless Republicans completely take over and have the House and Senate and everything, it's unlikely that the situation is going to get any better. And I don't think that Democrats are ever going to reduce spending. If Democrats get in power, they're just going to increase taxes. So I don't see anything in the short term that says that we're going to get the problem under control. And so if that's true, then we should expect to see Treasuries, Treasury yields rise a little bit. We spend about 54% of our budget on defense, and we spend 6% on infrastructure. That's about right. I mean, the thing is the federal government is supposed to spend on defense. Like, that's the main reason the federal government exists. It's good for them to spend on infrastructure, but that one's a little bit more hazy, It wasn't necessarily the framers' intent, Could be, it's a tough road. And the thing is Donald Trump is still talking about an infrastructure spending bill. But where are they going to find the money for it, Consider the global market, which buys debt. The Asian boomers of my generation will need security and retirement income. Well, the good news on that front is that it appears that the global market is coming to the United States to buy things. So there's that. Because if you go over to Europe, like, that's the thing that scares me is I think, okay, we're not getting our spending under control. Well, you go over to Europe where they have much higher spending because they have all of those social programs, like their medical programs, for instance. And what is the effect that we see over there in Europe? The yields on their government debt is negative. You go out and you buy their bills, you lose money if you hold it to maturity. And yet people still buy them, which is crazy to me. But as bad as things are in the United States, just remember it could always be much, much worse. I don't really like this zipper here. But I am getting enough at 11. I think for me, it's probably better to wait for the PMI, but I think that we're going to get a little bit of a pullback here. North Korea missile launches. Okay. They don't sound too panicked about it, but they did launch a missile, huh? Beijing has decided it's in no hurry to cut a deal with Washington. Meantime, officials have been touring the country to assess whether the economy can withstand a protracted trade fight with the United States. Of particular concern to China is rising unemployment and MNCs moving supply chains. Multinational companies moving supply chains. Larry Kudlow and billionaires who must be Thurston Howell's third grandson is a favorite character of mine. What do you think of his advice and strategy? Well, Larry Kudlow, I really like Larry. In terms of trading, I mean, he's never going to say anything that is particularly relevant to trading, but I think that he has some good ideas. Although I'm kind of wondering with the Federal Reserve picks that have been coming out of the administration, because surely he's running these by Larry, and Larry looks at them and says, okay, yeah, I think he would be good, or I don't think that this would be a good thing. This guy that they want to put on the Federal Reserve that's in favor of the gold standard, he's not going to get in. They're not going to let a gold standard guy on. That's like, that would be like electing that would be like electing a flat earther to the NASA board of directors. It's literally the same thing, right? Like the gold standard is like the flat earther theory of monetary theory, right? Nobody serious in economics believes in that. And you would be electing somebody to a board that is the antithesis of what they believe. I don't think that the Congress is going to elect them. And yet the administration still did it. And Larry should know better. Why was that pick allowed through? So I kind of wonder a little bit what's going on over there with their team, because it seems like something's up. Algo says that he's got to run. Have a good day. Hey, thank you very much. Did you give us an E-mini level here? He gave us on CL. I don't think he did in ES. It is a bit of a divided team. Wilbur Ross and Peter Navarro are a team, while Larry and Wilbur Ross come from the Reagan years. Steve Bannon talks about the gold standard. I should review his slant. Does he talk about the gold standard? I don't know. I mean, the thing is a lot of people on the really, what is the word I'm looking for here? I meant to say the other name and couldn't get Wilbur Ross's slippers out of my mind. No, it seems to me that a lot of the really hardcore Q-type conspiracy theory Donald Trump supporters are really into the gold standard, and it seems to me that what happened was all of the Ron Paul supporters came over into Trump, and because Trump has said, I don't want to get rid of the Federal Reserve, I don't want to move over to a gold standard. He's straight up said that. And yet you still have these guys trying to push to like end the Fed and things like that. And they think that he's into that, and he's not. And he just kind of, I think Trump just kind of smiles and nods and lets them think what they want. But I don't think that it's a serious economic theory. See, you can't, in the modern age, you can't allow your currency to be, manipulated and controlled by some other entity. You have to be able to control it and, ease in times of economic hardship and stabilize things. And go moving over to the gold standard just gives everybody else control over your monetary supply. It would be a terrible idea. How many ticks back and forth have we gotten here now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's your 2 points. So boring, it's almost like having a job. Did you actually get filled there, though? Well, I take it that you're saying that means that you got a fill in, that you got out. So my question, though, Ace, is why were you thinking short? What made you well, I guess maybe it's just holding the range there. Maybe that's not such a good question. Because it has been pretty range bound, and we're at the higher end of the range when you said that. So maybe it was just an easy range bound call. 18 to 16. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily like to be in a trade for 30 minutes in the evening, though. And with PMI, I think the main reason I sat on it was because PMI, and I'm like, well, there's no reason for me to get super involved in the markets right now, and we have some fun stuff to talk about, so maybe we can do that. Most of my contracts are off. I'm holding a few till after the opening. It's scary to be in a trade at the open. Yeah, it is. Do you think that there's going to be a more protracted sell-off today, or were you making that call just based off of the range? I need to do something about this other monitor because I feel like I have to really turn my head to read Twitter. And yeah, bothers me. I haven't been, ever since I did that, I haven't been watching it as closely. Okay, so there's the open. I suspect that treasuries are going to move back up a little bit. Cool. There's 3,000 at 11 there. 3,000 at 11. And a big event, well, a decent amount of market interest in the middle of it. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, another turn would maybe be an 11 tick zipper, but you don't take the 11 tick zipper at the low. I think there's a good chance of it reversing here, but it's a probability. I'm kind of going a little bit off of my gut. I think your probability here at the low becomes much more uncertain on that sort of a trade. Jack Kemp has a gold standard active 1984. Paul Ryan supported this? Really? Right, really? There's no way Paul Ryan supported that. No, there's no way. Let's see. A bill to resume a stable monetary standard in the United States. Meh. He says, I figured either way I could squeeze 2 points. Gotcha. Well, did you hold on? Are you still... You got another 2 points there almost. Forbes, Trump's plan. How are you able to post an HTTP link like that? Oh, it's because you're doing it on Twitch. If you post those on YouTube, it doesn't let you do it, and our members have trouble with that all the time. Which is why you should use Discord, folks, but I digress. Trump may talk like an Archie Blunker galoot at times, but he's no bigot. Don't be surprised if he reaches out to enroll the ethnic left. If he does and succeeds, as I expect he will, it will bring about a generational alignment. Well, he is certainly trying to do that. I don't know if it's going to work, but... I'm having a problem here because I feel like I need to be... Like, I need my eyes right here. Right here. That's where I want to look. Yellow. Right here. But to read Twitter, I gotta be way over here off screen. You can't see. And like, so here's me looking here, and here's me looking at Twitter. It's too far. It's too far. Maybe I need like, maybe instead of having 3 screens, maybe I need like 1 curved screen or something like that. And I almost never look at these charts over here. I could also maybe try and stack them, but then what would I do with my light? And there's just not enough room for everything. No matter what. Well, they ticked up at 11. Still got about 7 minutes here. Remember that the news scope hits the market early. Kind of interesting here in also with the large events. Look at the bidding in the ZB. If we didn't have news in 7 minutes, I think I would have tried to buy that. Right there. Ace says clean that mess up. See, the problem I'm having in my mind with my setup is that I've been thinking I need to get a stand to hold the monitors because I got one here and I got one here. And if I could get this one up, this one would be a little bit closer, but then I still don't think that I would be able to get it enough over to the side to do what we want. So I think that what I really need, if I come over here, I never show you guys this screen. But here's my screen, right? So I got big space for you guys so that I can catch that, and that's been working out really well. But then where does Twitter go? You know? Oh, why did it get all big? So we should move Twitter over here like this, but then I can't see the window. You know? Like that. You just can't win. I'm getting a few clicky noises. Oh, you know what? I turned that off today. I should turn that back on for you guys. There you go. GovTrader, it would be amazing if the FOMC said employment has been strong, inflation steady and close to our target, consumer confidence is strong, employment at all-time lows, and so the committee has decided to keep things unchanged. You know what, GovTrader? I can't. That would be awesome. It would be awesome. The market, the treasury market would fall so much if they did that. It would be pure chaos. So we did get the pullback that we were expecting. The question is it going to go back up all the way or reverse? Or is this the pullback and we want to get short here again? 4 ticks back. Thinking that we could maybe get 5. Five would make sense. We'll see. It's kind of been a slow creep up too. Bernie Sanders email blast with subject line Kamala Harris. Let's read it. Alex, Medicare for All has the support of a majority of voters in huge parts of the Democrat Party, so it's no surprise that the other candidates for president want to say they also support Medicare for All. Senator Kamala Harris released a plan today that her campaign calls Medicare for All. You can call it anything you want, but you can't call that plan Medicare for All. Her plan is centered around privatizing Medicare and reaching insurance executives and introducing media, corporate greed, and profiteering into the Medicare system. And even then, waiting for 10 years before any changes happen. He's going after her. Well, that just means that we need to have them in the same debate next time, right? Okay. Speculator Seth needs protein and a stretch. Well, I do need a stretch. I've been having trouble with my back lately. Okay, what was that? That was the pull. Here we go. Okay, so the news must have been bad. My oh my. Lots of clicky clicks. Well, the problem with that is that we're still within the range. So now it's really hard to know. And we don't know what the number was yet. We haven't gotten it yet. Okay. Okay. It didn't give me an actionable signal there, unfortunately. Okay, it is giving me the 1 minute warning. Look into that. I actually have a Theracane. Yeah, so the problem I have is that my back is kind of turns at a certain spot. And there's the, I forget what the name of the muscle is, but it kind of is like connects between your spinal cord and the bottom of your rib cage. And that muscle is just always sore. And it's kind of been twisting things. So some of the ribs don't like to stay in quite right, and it's kind of been bothering me a little bit. I need to get ice helps. Ice really helps. I need to get better at doing the ice, but so that's why when you do that, it like twists your whole rib cage. So sometimes you hear me lift my shoulders up and you hear it all pop. It's kind of gross, but the way it's moving around here, liquidity is still low. 10 seconds. What's the number we're looking for here? Okay, so it was 44 versus an estimated 51. So the number was pretty bad. I'm tempted to buy it there. Must be a trap. Juliet Fair is having breakfast of protein chicken thigh slivers. Maybe you should get a really good ergonomic chair if you spend a lot of time. The Graveston technique helped me when I had a rotator cuff surgery. I think I'm just too hard on it. So I do like Olympic weightlifting. Pretty heavy on your back. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that, but that's what you do. My chair at work isn't the best, unfortunately. It's okay, but I like this chair a lot better. This chair is an IKEA chair, and it's been pretty good. I need to look at I need to get that Herman Miller. Look at that. What the fuck? Wow. Wowie. I don't think I should be touching it. Or have a hot yoga instructor come in for us between trades while waiting for SAFs. I mean, maybe we could. My little sister, she kind of does that yoga sort of stuff. We could maybe do, The Theracane really is nice, but the thing is if I try and go after that muscle that's sore, it doesn't really help. I need to go back to Dr. Nate. There's this guy here in Utah, and he does dry needling and so forth, and it's really good. It's really effective. And that would probably set things right. I just need to manage it. I need to get professional help a little bit more, but I don't like going like to the chiropractor, for instance, because it doesn't, like, if you go every week, it doesn't fix the problem. You're just wasting money. And I will only go when I have a real problem. And I don't feel any pain at the moment. I feel fine right now. Probably by the end of today, I'm going to, though, because this is going to be a long day, right? Because we got this. I took the day off from work. We're going to do the FOMC at lunchtime here. And then after that, we'll take a good break, and then we'll come back for the debate. I mean, it's going to be a long day. Special forces guys had bad knees from jumping out of airplanes and running. They complained of back pain. Yoga is the best. It really helps you control each part of your body and is great for ladies who become flexible. Yeah. Well, I probably should do yoga. Should go and look up at the recreation center when they do yoga and go during a time when, like, maybe on Tuesdays or something. Because I think that what I need more than anything is things to relax with. I think that sometimes I stress myself out a little bit too much. This might be the spot. The way that turn down there was odd. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. What am I getting that sound for? Italy in Testa cinches 10 billion euro sourced loan deal with U.S. hedge fund. Okay. Seems like I'm getting it. It's interesting that the ZB already turned there and the 10-year and the 5-year have not reset things. Yoga has different forms. It's a matter of finding a hat style you prefer. It'd be nice. You know, like, the thing is if I go to the rec center and go to yoga, it's just going to be a bunch of middle-aged women. And me. That'll be weird. The flexibility always helps with the weightlifting, though. It's kind of a rough thing. I tell you what. Weightlifting is a great sport. But I'm not sure I can recommend it because the thing is that once you get into it, you can't stop. It's like if I go just a few days without doing the squats, my body is like telling me, okay, Seth, it's time to squat. Let's do it. Let's get it on. Like, you stop doing it, you don't feel good. But it is rough on your body too, you know? That's exactly what my son said. I dragged him along for 6 months after he quit Kol San Wan, a Korean martial arts. Never heard of that. That's an interesting. Sounds interesting. I like that 13.5 is pulling. Come on, let's get it. Do it. Nope. We may be beholden to the E-mini here too. Do we have numbers at the top of the hour? Mayhaps? No, just crude oil inventories later. UBS plans negative interest rate for rich clients. Well, I did read that correct. In terms of if it was a signal or not. For sure. It's just, is it a reversal or a continuation? I don't see the case for it being a continuation, but we'll see. Do you follow Joe Rogan? He has very good advice followed by information on nutrition and exercise. He's funny, but he speaks loud and fast, though he is slowing down his pace. Well, I have watched him a few times. I don't really follow him very strongly, but, every once in a while. So I really like to keep up on politics. So whenever the Donald Trump supporters are talking about something that happened on Joe Rogan's podcast, and, I'll watch that. But I don't know a whole lot about him otherwise. I do, I tend to keep up on the health stuff pretty good because of the weightlifting. They tell you what, that when you're in a sport, that's like a competitive sport, it really changes things because at that point, people have a real incentive to know what they're doing. And so you get people that really know their stuff. I've never seen a person come to my gym for a year consistently and not get shredded. I mean, it's just, they always get strong. And it's a very effective exercise because you get strong and it's very metabolically expensive. So you burn a lot of calories. So you'll lose weight if you eat correctly. But then you have to eat, correctly, or you won't be able to do it. And so, I'm in on all the things that take the creatine. Always recommend fish oil. I tell you what, if there's one thing that you should be taking that most people don't take, it's fish oil. Your body evolved on a diet of fish. Fish is like people's thing. And we don't eat a whole lot of it nowadays, and you need those omega-3s. You need them. It makes a big difference. If I stop taking the fish oil, I can feel the inflammation in my body and everything starts to ache. So really believe in the fish oil. I'm pretty flexible. I can't touch my toes because of my back, but everywhere else I'm very, very flexible because of the weightlifting. Ooh, that was a strong uptick. They took 3,000 and they stacked 2,000 on the bid. They've been doing that a lot lately and then not holding though. So we'll see. There's the 5-year. Not sure what it wants to do yet. Get a little bit of stacking on the ask at 14 and 14.5. Stacking and pulling 1,000. You see it right there at 14. I agree and think children should experience a team sport. My son had physical anorexia. Fish oil, omega fatty acids is what they made us evolve into thinking animals, brain food. There you go. Yeah. And then another thing that I would recommend is magnesium. People tend to not get enough magnesium in their diet. So make sure you have a multivitamin with magnesium in it. And it does B vitamins. That helps a lot too. But it kind of depends on what your level of activity is, of course. Are they going to push up through here? That stacking at 14, that was interesting. Post a picture. That's a strange pattern. That must be a robot. So you see he started at 18 and he moved it down slowly closer. And now he's doing it at 13.5. There's the uptick. Okay, they didn't hold. Okay. Do you know the old gold ring trick to check your iron levels? Rub your wedding band on the back of your hand, and if it leaves a black mark, you need iron. I've never heard of that. Iron is one. Yeah, I've heard that before. And you should do some research about that because my wife is pregnant, right? And, I don't really know what the nutritional differences are. I know that there's always like prenatal vitamins and stuff. I'm wondering, okay, so what's with those? Why do we take those? I should research that. So no flip in the level 2 yet after the uptick. There's a couple of stacks there, though, in the bids. Any other Wold Wives tales that you want to... I've never heard the iron thing. I have to look that up. See if it's actually true. Folds in your ears means possible heart issues? Don't let her change the cat litter. Wait, why aren't you allowed to change cat litter? I've never heard that. What? Okay, we're do some research. I don't know if you're for real. Okay. If possible, a pregnant woman should not change the cat litter box and should avoid contact with cat feces. And you should wear gloves when gardening. Gotcha. There's a bacteria that lives in it. Well, I don't have a cat, but I have a bunny. And we use cat litter for the bunny. And I wonder if she should not be doing the cat litter. Cat poop can contain a virus. So what about bunny? Handling rabbits while you are pregnant. As far as I know, there is no damage. Rabbits are not intermediary hosts of toxoplasmosis. Cats are the primary host. Okay, sounds like I don't really need to worry about it. So there's an iceberg there at 13.5 now. I don't. Tell you what, folks, don't get a bunny. That's my advice. Lucas, gosh, so hard to find solid opportunities in this action, right? Well, they did give us a pretty good long signal before the news that could have worked out, but I don't think that it would have been very wise to have taken that. Now that we're getting this thing at 13.5, though, yeah, I really wonder. Something weird is definitely going on, though. Like, what happened there was somebody basically had a 1,000 lot, and then they moved it down. They moved it down, they moved it down, they moved it down, they moved it down. And it just kind of disappeared. And now there's an iceberg at 13.5. So you gotta wonder. When bunnies get mad, they are really crazy. They bite a lot. And, but this bunny doesn't really bite. I feel bad for the bunny because, I mean, we used to get her out and pet her a bit, but she doesn't really. Bunnies just don't get it. They just, and I don't think that bunny got nearly enough socialization. And I feel like that, she's just, I don't know. I feel like that what we've done by owning a bunny is unjust. You know what I mean? Like I'm afraid that the bunny is less intelligent because she was our pet. You know what I mean?
Block cell.
Shoot. They take it all at once there, huh? Okay, well, a block cell like that doesn't necessarily mean to that we're gonna move, but that was quite a take for that to show up like that. We've took 4,300 in there, and he sold it, and now there's an iceberg at 12.5. I think for this is making me nervous, but I think I should hold it up until the trade fails because that's what we need for the stats. Hassan Fluffer, Turkish restaurant patron. That is a German rabbit dish. Rabbits are prey animals. When you lift them up, they're scared instinctively. Yep, exactly. Exactly. For a rabbit is, I think that a rabbit can make an okay pet for adults. You're a person that's a quiet person and you're a patient person, and you can do fun things with rabbits, and they do have personality and they can be relatively intelligent. But for kids, especially, they're just the worst pets. And the thing is that you know, you have to keep them in a cage because they will just rip things apart. They will chew your carpet. They will chew your baseboards. They will just tear you have to keep them in a cage. But rabbits were not intended to stay in a cage. Like, they can run and jump. They need probably, could use more room than a dog. And so I just don't think it's a good thing to be having a bunny. But they insisted, and my wife kind of tricked me into it. And yeah. So I have a bunny. And they live for quite a long time too, so I guess I'm going to have it for a while. But I feel bad. I'd like to. We are going to build a hutch for it outside here soon, so. So it's good that we went bid again. I'm still curious as to what's really going on here. There's certainly somebody making some sort of a move in the market. A block sell like that is very unusual. He's pointing out that the market is really slow. You still in that short then, huh? There's a lot of trading here. I don't know. I think this thing right here in ZV, though, that was like a really great signal before the news. If you were so inclined to take a trade before the news, of course. I don't think you need that anymore. I mean, if we can move out of this area. Algo Lover says that 3013 is the line in the sand for buyers to depend. So if it goes through there, you're good to hold. Now, what would you say about ferrets? They're smart and terrific for social learning etiquette, but they are little cancer machines and do not die of old age. My sister has a pet pig, a teacup mini that grew into a couch with an attitude and tusks. Oh my gosh, what, really? In your house? Ugh. With tusks, that would be scary. No. I think that we should stick... Well, so I have birds, right? If you see my introduction to futures video, I did it with the birds, which was probably a dumb idea, but hey, you know what? They would not shut up. And we were not meant to have birds either. Now, birds are fairly social animals and feel pretty domesticated, and I think that my birds are okay. Like, I think that they're okay to be in the cage and they get enough exercise when I get them out every day. But generally speaking, I've decided that we're probably best to stick to domesticated animals like dogs and cats. Particularly dogs. Dogs were meant for us, right? Other animals, not so much. Facebook approached Netflix to support TV device. Information: Facebook also approached Disney's and others for support. Facebook is going to make a TV or a device to watch television with. That's what we need. Ooh, look at that bid at 13.5. Wow. Somebody just showed some real muscle there. That was crazy. Did we see it when it went bid? 1,500 stacked on the bid at 13.5. I'm surprised that the guys at 14 aren't just pulling. My animals are getting a little anxious, I think. So I can hear the dogs whining, crying, and the birds are, that's the bird in the background, screaming to try and get my wife out of the bed. And now she must have moved because they all just heard her step. Yep. Skunks are funny, but reports by the humans who are owned by them say that they are really pretty dumb. Sugar gliders need to fly and are a bit antisocial. I know someone with fennec foxes, and that is insanity at its utmost. Now, sugar gliders are really great, but the problem with sugar gliders is you have to spend a lot of time with them, and they are nocturnal. So I would only recommend sugar gliders for somebody that stays up late and is home a lot. Because you got to spend like 4 to 6 hours with them. Man, those animals were excited for her to come down and let them out. Okay, so now pretty big iceberg at 14. I'm still not getting another signal yet, though, so I think that means it can continue. Certainly, if the E-mini decided to sell here, it could go, but it's surprising how much they're putting on the offer. Now, how big has this been, this offer here? It's been there ever since the news, basically. So that 14.5 might not be reliable. Bitcoin's still buying up today. Yep, mom's awake and noms. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Usually it happens a little earlier in the day, but in the summer. And she's been complaining. She's like, there's something that you do. You move or something because they always start whining and then I have to come down and get them. And that was just it. But I wasn't doing anything. I was just talking like normal. That was a good uptick there with 5,000 on the offer. We're going through some big size. The interesting thing is that the markets kind of still looks skeptical here or like unsure what to do. Okay, so they hit it at 14, but now it's fighting back too. And what about the 5-year? Uncertain. Last night, someone made the comment about showering after work. No one got it, but that is a question that is being asked on personality tests. Do you want to shower before you go to work, or do you need to shower after your work? After work? Yeah, I didn't understand what he was saying. I shower before work, though. I get up and I shower in the morning. I shower too much, frankly. I really like to shower. Oh, man. So I will shower when I wake up in the morning and then, trade, go to work. Immediately after work, I'll go to the gym. And then immediately after the gym, I'll eat and shower again. So I shower before going to bed and then I shower after going to bed. And I really like the warm shower. Really relaxes my back and kind of gets it to even back out and everything. Well, they fought a little bit at 14, but it's going big again. And it's kind of pumping up like they think they might uptick again. And it's all on what the 5-year does here. 5-year went bid. I think they might tick up here again. Oh no, 5-year really needs to break 22 and a quarter. What about the 30-year? What are we seeing in the 30-year? 30-year is a new swing high. So it's gone higher than afternoons as the 10-year has not. This is turning into a great trade. We should reference our charts here to see. Okay, yesterday's high, 17.5. I need to come in here and clear my chart, my levels. Okay, previous high, 17.5. So my plus 8 ticks is in a great spot. Okay. And this one. And this one. Okay, well, there was a little bit of something there at 15. Look, 6 swing up, 6 swing down, 6 swing up again. Blue collar tends to need a shower after work, while white collars need a shower in the morning before work. So, do you want to work inside or outside? Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I would do very well if I had a manual labor job for a living. We've been working on our yard. And that was so much work. We'd dig a trench, had to build a French drain, and then we had to, level all of the ground ourselves. We put the sprinklers in ourselves. We built a staircase ourselves out of railroad ties. It was just a lot of work, and my parents helped us. My dad provided a lot of additional manual labor, but it was hard. And just doing that on the weekends was like murder. And there are people that do that sort of a thing every day for a living. It's just, I don't want to say that I envy. I respect it, I guess is what I should say, right? But I don't envy them at all, right? That is a tough living. So it's kind of giving me some price action signals that it's going to stop, but it's not actually giving me my signal that it's done. And I'm worried that it's going to finish and come back in my face without giving me a signal. It's done that a few times, but I think that we should stick with our strategy for now and we should just let it go. If it turns into a really long zipper here, then maybe I'll get out. But for the moment, it's kind of saying to me that we could keep moving. But, and you know, the E-mini is starting to sell off a little bit more. I hope Ace is still holding on to that. Because now we are below the 2013.50. Sorry, 30.13.50. So now, if they hold this, then they could extend much further in the E-mini. Maybe I should be going short here. Wouldn't it be a small world if your mother and I went to college in Florida in the 70s? Her name was Jerry. Nope. Don't know anybody named Jerry. But Uzi is from Florida. So there you go. Small world, right? Well, you know, Florida's a pretty big state, I guess. Okay, we did get an uptick there. It's not like the best hold. Quite a few hitting into 50.5 already, though. He says he's still in. Good job, dude. Why didn't I take it with him, folks? How much would that have been? It's from 18. It's from 18, right? Yep, it was from 18 to 13, 5 points times $25. Would have been a good trade. We moved here from Tampa Bay. We lived in Boca Ciega Bay across from Don Caesar. And I still want the Bucks to win, huh? So it's given me a zipper here. This is kind of looking like continuation though. Yeah, Algo says and you're good to 127.16.5 at least. Yeah. See, that 17.5 was the previous day's high, so. But the problem is are they going to give us another swing first before they go up there? That's the concern that I have. I mean, I don't know. We got some pretty good upticks. I would expect that those guys at 13.5 and 14 are going to defend it, but I don't know. They still seem super quiet. You know what I mean? Okay, like for instance, they ticked up there at 15. There's only 500 bits, so that would tend to indicate the zipper will continue. Well, now a little bit of iceberging, actually. Yeah, not too much. 1,000. And you can see that they're kind of stacking there at 15 a lot, right? I think it's because they're not sure that the 5-year is going to hold these levels. Okay, something's happening. Donald Trump tweeted something. If I hadn't won the 2016 election, we would be in a great recession/depression right now. The people I saw on stage last night, and you can add in Sleepy Joe Harris and the rest, will lead us into an economic sinkhole like the likes of which we have never seen before. Only with me, only up. With me, only up. Okay. There's another uptick. Something was going on there. They were starting to move orders a bunch. this uptick is better than the last one, but they're still not better than the downticks were. Okay, well now that's better. Okay. So they tried to clear 15.5, but they 700 held it back. GE raised its outlook. Don't see anything about that here, but the Chicago PMI 2019 collapse is the worst in over 30 years. Really? Well, that's Seth, funny your stop is where the entry into this move started. Yeah, you actually have a good point there, Alco. Well, the funny thing is that we had a pretty solid signal there at 11. It told us to go long there at 11. Oh, I didn't like that. It told us to go long there at 11, but of course it was before the news and the market was really slow, so we said to not touch it. But if we had touched it and then you held it through the nose, oh man, that would have been great, right? Well, I'm still not getting enough activity, but I did not like the way that just turned on me there. Looks like the 5-year is playing some funny games here. We're going to get the oil report here soon. Yeah, I think one of the things, if you're trying to scalp and you're doing it based on like what the range is, so like the average range is 4 to 5 ticks, I think you're actually going to find that your stops and your targets are very often at not quite the right spots. Bad juju. City is reducing jobs, is preparing to cut hundreds of jobs within its trading division. Stark new evidence that an industry-wide slump in revenue this year may be more permanent than the tweets and policy moves rallying clients. Yeah, so pretty much everybody had bad trading. I think Goldman actually did okay with trading, but a lot of the banks had very bad trading, and a lot of traders are getting laid off. And you can see even with us scalping, it's been really hard. And some people are blaming the robots, but I think that it's more than that. I think that it's really has more to do with the structure of the overall market right now is not exactly the most positive thing, I think. I'm sure that eventually they're going to have to rethink some things, but one of the big things in my mind is still that it was a bad idea to take the banks out of discretionary trading, in my opinion. Like the whole Volcker rule thing, I don't think that it was a positive thing, because you don't have any, if the market is doing something crazy, who's the person that's going to step in and say, okay, hold on, enough, this is dumb, we're buying this. You need somebody big and discretionary. It can't be a robot. It's got to be a human making that decision, and you don't have that in this market right now. No, that's not the way that I want to do that. It's much more than that. Look at what someone can learn online for free. Travel agents, realtors, all the kind of things that we can do ourselves can be found online, including legal forums. Well, so a lot of services aren't worth as much. So I saw, I don't know how to link this to you, but if you go into reddit.com/r/economics, there was a pretty good article where these guys, they went in on industry by industry, and they looked at company by company. What were the things that were costing those companies? What were things that were holding earnings back, to try and determine where the growth is going? Why are we having such trouble with growth? And it was really interesting because some of the things that we attribute to being really big factors behind the trouble with growth are not, they are certainly factors, but they weren't as big of factors as the authors of the study thought that they would be. And it's very much sector by sector. So, for instance, foreign trade, for instance, is a big one. Okay, we got filled. I'm taking it off because it's the zipper, even though I think that it can really go through. But I just don't like the way that they're tossing it around here. I feel like that they're trying to pull people out of a trade. It was making me uncomfortable. This is the second time that I've gotten off on a zipper. Let's see if it continues through or not. It's close. It's also close to my time to quit anyways. Actually, I did the right thing there. I totally did the right thing there because I don't like holding a trade past 8:30. Anyways, so like we talk about, foreign labor demand, but that was, more factor in certain areas. And they were saying that almost 30 to 40% of it was just economic cycle, that the boom and busts, and having those financial crises, because everybody says this has been a great recovery, but there's been like 3 or 4 financial crises during this past 10 years. Okay. It has been a very turbulent 10 years. All right. And yeah, it was very interesting. So it could be, well, here's one theory is governments are taking on too much debt, and these kind of crises are the result of that. More volatility during crisis when the country has too high a level of debt. Because honestly, if we had a real crisis right now, at that point, we would be into debt levels that would be quite troublesome. Flex or ion follow? Why do people want me to come in and flex? I don't have huge arms. I mean, I'm okay. I'm in okay shape. Here you go, like that. I'm in okay shape, but arms are not my strong point. Absolutely. And certainly not biceps. I know girls with, well, not bigger biceps, but definitely better looking biceps than mine. How many times has this gone back and forth? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now it's an 11 tick zipper. So this signal is a really good reversal, but it's not at high or low. So there's a good chance that it's going to go up here for a tick and then fail. There's also a good chance that it just fails and turns down. You've got a real unfinished auction here at 15.5 though. Here in our country, the factories are small and do things like put caps on medicine bottles. You can earn $12 an hour to start if you pass a drug test. They can't find Americans to stand there for 12 hours for that pay, and that is good pay around here. We need first generation help while the millennials pursue different interests and ideas. Well, this kind of gets me into something that we talk about a lot here is the whole basic universal income thing. And people are saying, well, we need, where are the new jobs going to come from? And I kind of agree with the people that are like, yes, this is just like all of the people back at the turn of the century that were saying, what are we going to do now that we've automated all of it? Now that we have these machines and we can make things so much more efficiently, whatever shall we do? And I don't think that people have it right, because first of all, things are going to be so cheap. Like, can you imagine what happens when they automate the building of homes? What would happen if what would be a $500,000 house today only cost $50,000? Huh? Because they can like literally put this machine on the thing and print it in a day, and it's done. Right? That's going to be a big paradigm shift. you won't need as much money first. Okay. Number two, there are lots of things like, what would be something? Okay. Like graphene, for instance. We can't mass produce graphene, right? There's lots of things that we can't mass produce that take a lot of effort. But once you can actually mass produce those particular things, it opens up all sorts of avenues. Now there's all sorts of new things that you can potentially make, and new things that might require human specialty to do. Okay. But then people find a way. People are going to find a way to add value. And if people don't have money, then things aren't going to be very expensive. You're never going to have this thing where 80% of the population is just, destitute or something. So that was a really strong take. And then they took it off again at 15.5. Just like, that's exactly what I was worried about right there. They could totally bust through here and make me regret saying all of this. I mean, I've seen both, but I've just been in that situation enough times to know that I don't want to be toyed with on it. When I already have 4 ticks, they could come back so easily. Anyways, I really think that the future economy is going to be one where almost everybody has the ability to create and own things, right? Everybody can own stocks in public companies. I think that people should own more stocks. And now that we have apps like Robinhood and things like that, it's much more accessible to people. And that's good. But what we need to do next is we need to be able to get everyday people involved in the angel market, the angel investing market, right? So an economy where you have an idea and you put it out there, and there's a community and website of people that are all experts in helping certain aspects of the idea. And you can form a team there together, and you can get funding on the website. And anybody, if you have an idea, you can do something. And then at that point, everybody is involved in it. Like everybody, they'll have a side hustle where they have an idea that they're trying to make happen and trying to convince people to invest in. That would be a really cool world to live in, where everybody is involved in entrepreneurship, essentially. Everybody can create content like what we're doing here in streaming. Just think about if the kind of economic model that we see here on YouTube is extended into every industry. That would be a huge paradigm shift. One that I can't even begin to fathom the changes that it would have on the economy and the amount of prosperity that sort of thing could create. And we're all sitting here worrying about, oh no, our jobs are all being automated. Like, come on. There is a market in this world for used bath water. You remember this? Is her name Amaranth? I forget who it was, but this cam girl basically that has a Patreon, and she just posts lewd pictures of herself. That's all she does, not nude pictures, but kind of lewd pictures of herself. And she has a ton of followers, and she sold bathwater, and they sold off. They sold out bathwater. If there is a economy out there for used bathwater, think about the things that you can do. Honestly, I mean, really, if I could sell my used bathwater, I would be all in. I would make the best bathwater ever. I would, maybe spike it with some extra vitamins and minerals for you. I'd have nice crystal vials. I would totally go all out for you guys if you wanted to buy my bathwater. But people don't want to buy my bathwater. But of course, there is a market out there though for used bathwater. So if there's a market out there for used bathwater, then just imagine all of the other opportunities that are out there that we're not seeing. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Middle America really drives the economy, and if they have money to play with, they are generous. Restaurant effect. You are asking the same kind of questions that the horse and cart people wanted answered when the cars came along. Once the barn door is opened, we can't go back. We moved to coding and we moved to managing. The same skills used in coal mining could be applied to infrastructure repair, but that will keep it busy for years. Yeah. In 1981, we had $7,000 and I wanted to buy Microsoft. We went to Merrill Lynch, who said the stock was not available yet. So we bought airline stock and Reagan promptly deregulated the airlines. My grandfather made more than a comfortable retirement hobby out of stocks. I should have listened better. Wow. Man, if you had put $7,000 into Microsoft in 1981, oof. See, this is how I know that I am ethical and moral in my nature. I could be such a grifter and fortune seller, but not necessarily a sex trade worker, though I admire their entrepreneurial spirit. See, here's my take. Okay. If you have a skill out there that people want, and you can provide them that service, if people want this service, understand, people already want this service, I think it is immoral not to provide it from them. That is, you have a gift to the world and you're keeping it to yourself because you have some hang up over it. As I don't think, you would have to have a real moral reason for why it would be a bad thing to give it to them. And it's not just that, they're wasting their money. It's not to you to determine if something is a good use of their money. Maybe that vial of bathwater causes that particular person to have some sort of epiphany and completely changes their life. We have no clue. We have no clue. I know it's really dumb. I know, but it's not our place to say that. Of course, if you don't want to do something that you find personally immoral, I would never post lewd pictures of myself online, but we were stationed in Little Rock next to my first Walmarts. I need to harness my power for good. Have a good day, all. Hey, Algo Lover, thank you very much. I think that this might go up to your 16.5. We'll see. But it was a good call on the E-mini. So, good job. We'll be here I'll be here for the FOMC, so maybe we'll see you later. And for the debate, so. So I'm wondering, did Uzi ever take a trade? Did he take that when we hit the initial balance at like 23? Maybe take along? The reason that you would be considered to have a natural talent for trading is because of pattern recognition. You can recognize patterns and sort and organize those, and you have accuracy in this cognitive function. I think so. I don't know if that's always true. Here's the other thing about me is that I am a little ADHD. I don't have super severe ADHD, but I take Strattera right now, and I also take Adderall, but I haven't been taking that this week because I ran out. They screwed up my prescription. But my observation with ADHD people and my observation in myself is that we tend to see things that just aren't there. And so you'll think that there's a pattern and you'll start trading off of it, and then it turns out to be nothing. Or you'll say, okay, here's an interesting thing that's going on. Like just for instance, right now, the ZB, even though the ZN has moved up a tick, the ZB has not. And we're still in a zipper in ZB, and it's a very long zipper. It's extremely unusual for the ZB to stay in an 11 tick zipper, for instance. And so I could sit down and say, well, there's a pattern, that's something that's significant. But the honest truth is depending on what your strategy is, that information might be completely useless to you. You know what I mean? Were you in the gifted program? And well, we didn't have that in our school. No. I took all of the honors and AP classes, but I didn't think that was because I'm particularly smart. I think that it's you choose to do it. I tell you what, I think, there is a lot of interesting research about whether or not you can actually increase your IQ. But I believe very strongly that your brain, that you have to exercise it to get stronger. So I just noticed my kids, for instance, my stepkids rather, the 3 stepkids, have extremely impressive linguistic abilities.
So my stepson, he's like 11, and he reads on a college level, according to the school tests, at least. So I don't know if I read too much into those or what, but they're saying that he reads on a college level, and I believe it because I've never come across anything that he can't read. Very, very high linguistic ability. And what are the sort of things that they do? They like to play this, they have this notebook where it has like a story, and then it says, okay, pick a verb, pick a noun, pick an adverb. And they know what all of these things are. Like, remember spending all this time in school, even in high school, about what are the different parts of language and stuff like that. And people always not knowing what they were, but they know because they play this game. And that's the sort of thing that they like to do. And they're exercising their linguistic parts, and they read a ton of stuff on the internet, That's why I think that's a big part of, at least, why they're so good at it. They had the innate interest in it, and then because of that, they exercise it. Another example is I started to wake myself up with an alarm clock that requires me to put in to solve an equation. Have you guys done that? If you haven't done that, I would really recommend doing that. Find an application for your alarm on your phone that requires you to solve a math equation before you can wake up. And the ones that it gives me are just adding two two-digit numbers. And I watched this video of this guy that's like some sort of mathematical savant. And I don't know how he does this particular thing, but he kind of is like, look, I can teach you how to do this sort of thing, and you practice at it. And then he showed his way of adding two numbers, and his way is that you do it left to right, just like we do, instead of doing it right to left like they usually do in math. So, if you're adding like 24 and 32, then you first add the 2. So 2 and 3 is 5, and then you add the second side, and then when you're adding the second side, if the second side is more than 10, then you're just like adding 10 to it. So you say, so it's really like 30 plus 20 plus 12 or whatever it is. My example wouldn't lead to having to carry a number, but then you just add it, and it's so much easier because you don't have to like remember. You don't have to carry the number in your head. You just read it right to left, and you can get a lot faster at it. And I've found that when I first started, I had to really sit and think about it. But now I can almost any number, almost instantly, I can get it. So I think that you got to practice it. That's why I say, I think that probably just about anybody could become good at trading. Unfortunately, only 10% of people actually will. That's just kind of the way that it works. But that 10% that actually stumbles into the success, it could be just about anything. And it's just about understanding the market and knowing what matters in the end. You have to have a plan. You don't have to be the kind of person that innately wants to plan everything. You can be the kind of person that likes to fill things out. That could actually be an advantage, because then when your plan doesn't work out, you're able to handle it, right? But you understand that you have to stick to a consistent plan and strategy to be able to have the edge, And honestly, people that are really smart are not always the best traders. I think that being really smart makes it harder to get good at trading, actually, because it's the humility that really matters. The being able to say that I really don't know, which is not an easy thing for me at all. Okay, it's like a chess game in 3D. You can see layers of the game, but maybe not the end game until the big picture is complete. I can project futures better than my husband, while he sees the short-term big picture or the immediate better. Okay. Your stepson might be an INFP. They have an astonishing talent for language and are a bit flighty and artistic. I don't know if he's flighty and if he's artistic, really. Did you know that some people are dyslexic in the math part of their brain? They can read but mix up numbers. Asians are faster at solving math problems because they do something like this thing you're discussing. We read left to right and then have to process the numbers and rearrange them. And Asians read differently. Yeah, that might be. Judges versus perceivers in the MBTI committee both seek closure, but judges are organized and perceivers are flexible even without yoga. Yep, exactly. The judger is more likely. Somebody did this study on trading, and they found that the judgers were much more likely to be successful. And in fact, that was like the most predictive thing that they found as to whether or not a trader would be successful was if they were a judger. Because you have to be able to follow a plan, and the judger is more likely to try that. But I think that the perceiver has an advantage there if they go and they form a plan, because everything is situational, you know? And I'm not sure which side of the spectrum I think that I'm a judger, because not when I'm looking at an organization, but just when I look at how I look at the world, like I'm a really judgmental person about people. I think really mean people things when I first see people. Like I can't help it. I don't think it's a good thing, but I can't help it. I'm a really judgmental person. You might find. So yeah, I don't know. It's funny. So I was wondering, I have a couple of things I want to do programming wise, but I don't think that would be very interesting for streaming. But if you guys had something that you really wanted to look into, we could totally look into that. Okay, we are getting a spike in the ZB. I think that might be the continuation that sends us a little bit higher. Let's see. And by the way, let's go over here into Jigsaw and put our notes in. Journal queue. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted that. This one right here. It was a reversal. Reversal. Did it follow my plan? Yes. Reacted to the market behavior? Yes. Stop that. Gut feeling at the time of entry. Good. Okay, so we got out on a very long zipper. Did end up continuing for quite a bit. This is the second time that this has happened and it went through. So we're going to need to keep an eye on that. Let's see here. The cognitive function is stack that favors accuracy is sensing and thinking needing accuracy. You have the physical type of an INTP, but the athleticism of an SJ or a TJ. Well, that's interesting. But I'm not athletic. This is the thing. Is like, I mean, I don't know how to even like show, but like my wrist is tiny. I mean, I can do that on myself, but almost anybody can put their hand around my wrist. I've very rare that you meet a guy has thinner bones than myself. So I kind of have like the ectomorph kind of body type, if that makes sense. Like the slim and slender kind of look. And what I am not well suited to weightlifting, like Olympic weightlifting. You really want somebody that has short levers, really thick bones, and is athletic and powerful. And that is not me at all. And it's been very, very hard. And I'm not particularly good at weightlifting, honestly. Um, when you type, it sounds like you are shaking a bottle of whipped cream, and I almost expected it. I am a pretty fast typer. Well, that is something that apparently I am good at. You know, it's kind of weird because a lot of the things that we think about, like, are you good at something? The honest truth is that most of the time we don't have enough information to really quantify that sort of a thing, you know? Like, how good am I compared to other traders? I think I'm better than average, but man, to really be like a great trader, you have to be like a really great trader. And so it's kind of like even better than average kind of means that you kind of break even a lot of the time. And you know, when you're thinking about your brain, like it seems to me like I'm a much more disagreeable person than normal, but like, how do I compare that? You know, I have no way to compare that. Or like, you might want to think that you're smart. What about women weightlifters? There must be an adaptation for our bird-like hollow bones. No, it's this is the same thing. I've noticed that some of the women that tend to be really good tend to have more boyish frames, right? So like, I used to, at first I would have thought that having really wide hips would be a really big advantage, but I have not found that to be a huge indicator. But one thing that I have is girls that have good shoulders. For some reason, that seems to indicate, just because it means that they're going to have the muscle elsewhere. And honestly, though, here in the United States, we're not very good at weightlifting, and so, you know, the people, like, well, there's a girl at our gym that's a Masters world champion and holds world records. But when you look at what the competition there is there at that particular level, it's not as amazing of a feat as, say, being an Olympian, right? To be an Olympian, you have to be like a real freak. And so, you know, there's a lot of women that are probably successful at it, and you could be successful and go to, like, honestly, no joke, if you were like 12 years old and you came over to our gym and started working out, you would definitely get to the national level in the United States. And if you have any kind of genetic predisposition to it, you could become an Olympian, no question about it, just because that's where things are in the United States. Anyways, I don't like the way that this is ticking, man. I mean, it's pushed a little bit higher, but it's not really. Even if I was still in this, I would feel really uncomfortable, I think. Okay. How do I go through this queue here and get the rest of these to say that dismiss all? There we go. Okay. That should make it easier for me to do my journaling. I've read the reason women have less upper body strength is because we must hold and carry a baby while men must wield a weapon to protect us. We are built better to run. That might be. I don't know, but anyways, I thought it was interesting that you were saying that there was some correlation between a personality type and body structure. So I don't know if me being an ectomorph really conforms to that or not, but I would like to see some studies that would suggest that that's true. Okay, well, so I didn't get any suggestions on stuff to program. I think it probably would be best to cut it off here. I kind of want to, let's wait. Actually, no, you know what? We should wait until the London close. So let's go for another 30 minutes and see if there's 16.5. Tropical, hey, how's it going? That's a new name. Have you been in here before? Got to see. I also, it's much quieter today. Well, we got up to, what was the max that we ever got up to? Sometimes it's, you know. Oh, actually, we did. It's just that people tend to leave after about 8 o'clock. So, it was normal. It was a normal day. I don't know. ZN hits its target. There you go. Well, it hasn't cleared it yet, has it? But that just means we got out at 15, right? And it's now at 16. No, I just found out about your channel. You seems like you're a children. Oh, well, thank you. You just came across that on YouTube. So do you do any kind of trading? I don't know. I'm just like a normal guy I just happen to be the one guy that was dumb enough to show everything to you live. Algo says gave it to you earlier. No, you totally did. I mean, here's the thing. Going back, let's wait. Are we looking at the right screen here? I mean, here's the trade, right? Let's discuss. Okay, so here was the news. Where is it? 7:45. Okay, so here's the news. Went up for a new high. That's where I changed my bias, and then it came back down to here and was bouncing along here. And we got this signal right here, so I bought it. Okay, so we bought it, and we got this move. 4 ticks up. So that's the move that you're looking for. Okay. So now, do you hold it? It becomes the big question. What would have happened if it had come back down to here again? Could totally have done that at that point. We don't know. Or it could have come back to and then pushed higher, right? But I'm only looking to catch one swing. Now, in this particular case, it went the full 8. I could have gotten the full 8. But there's like this zipper, and I know these zippers have a tendency to reverse. But this is the second time that I've taken it where it's come into that and it's continued. So I'm kind of sitting here wondering, maybe I should hold those. This right here at 16.5 is an exit. This one actually right here at 15.5, I don't think I would consider an exit because it was just coming up out of a zipper and it's tight. So that, but it did reverse for a little bit. So I'm thinking based on my strategy, even if I had held, I might have ended up getting out at 15.5, you know? But my whole point of going into that was, I only want to be in it for a swing, so I didn't want to risk it coming back down. You know, I wanted, if it came back down, to be able to buy it again. So I don't know, but we can test it further. I don't want to turn this a scalp into a swing though, you know? Okay, so let's see here. Tropical says, I do cryptocurrency, yes, but to be honest, I'm 85% investing in 15% trading. Well, that's good because day trading cryptocurrency is like bad. It's crazy in my opinion. I don't want to say bad. Nothing. I don't think that. I think it's usually a not a helpful thing to try and look at things as good or bad. Things are just things, but I'm going to say you're probably going to lose money in doing that day trading cryptocurrencies. Now that said, they're up today, aren't they? Where is it? The chart. Come back, CB. Oh, there it is. They had some pretty wild action here, and they weren't never able to break 9,000, and now they're back up again here, and I don't know what they're gonna do. To be honest, yes, you're right about everything has its downsides. Yeah, I like to invest long term in cryptocurrencies, but I don't like this market. I have an indicator, so you can go and look at it in the video description. I have a link to my Patreon. There's 17.5, so there would have been 8. When you develop your opinions on the basis of weak evidence, you will have difficulty interpreting subsequent information that contradicts these opinions, even if this new information is obviously more accurate. Well, yeah. So here's the thing: is I have one thing that tells me, gives me a pretty good edge on the swing. So for me to try and look for more than a swing, or for more than the next signal, is questionable. And you have shown me some pretty good levels, but I haven't seen. You're gonna have to show me like some back testing results, or like your own results over a period of, let's say, 6 months to a year, before I would feel super comfortable with really trading based off of that. And then even then I would really want to understand how it's working. But they gave us a reversal there at 16.5, so I'm going to say there's still a good chance that they turn here for a little bit. Anyways, what were we going in there with? Oh yeah, I was talking about cryptocurrencies, right? So I have an indicator that has a very, very good historical probability, and I've made some pretty good money trading it. Like I've made about $1,500 from literally nothing, just from mining, which is pretty good, right? And basically what I'm doing is I'm looking at transactions on the blockchain to try and figure out what's going on, and to tell if we're overbought or oversold. And the problem with this market is that we have been overbought for an extremely long time. So this market looks manipulated to me, and I'm just not comfortable participating in it. I can't prove that it's being manipulated or anything. It's doing something that I don't understand completely. Now, another thing is that there was some big transactions yesterday. Was it yesterday? Maybe it was the day before. People moved like half of Tether's. They were saying that maybe it was Tether people, but it was 50% of the Tether market cap that moved around. That is crazy. And then they moved it into liquid. So now it's in this place where it could show up on any exchange at any time, and there's no way that any of us would know. So that concerns me. And I just don't feel comfortable buying this cryptocurrency market, even as it continues to move up. And I'm worried about that they're going to fail this 9,000 level. Like, it seems like that there's some guys that are really accumulating at that level. And I question if they can really hold it forever, you know? I forward test every day. But you got to show me. You got to show me if you want. I mean, you've been, I want to say right, because the thing is that it's, based off of the information that you've given me, it's really hard for me to make a trade out of that. But, I really like to see the probabilities that you're working off of that, because I would really like a better indication of where it's going to turn. Because, you always get this thing, you take it off and it continues, and then you try and leave it on and it doesn't. You know what I mean? That's why I've resorted to only taking the swing. And maybe that's the right thing for me to do, but I would have loved to have gotten 8 ticks on that, I left half of it on the table. I asked if you wanted to see, and you said no. I must have misunderstood then. I'm sorry. If you have stats or your own historical performance, I always like to look at that. Always. Because one of the things that's really irked me in the past is when people come in and they start saying, "Hey, look, I'm so great at trading," and then they don't show their work. So you can never actually know if they're really right, or if it's just, confirmation bias. Like, you're only noticing when they're right or something like that, Last week twice? I must have misunderstood. If you have a link or a picture that can show me what your stats are, I would like to see them. I'm still not entirely sure if I can incorporate that into the strategy though, right? And that's the killer, is it's that freaking zipper, man. I don't think that that's something I should be messing with. Could be wrong. I don't know. Oh, is something wrong over here? Oh no, I think we're okay. We're okay. Anyways, whenever I run into, I've done so many studies based off of these. It's 50-50. That thing. Gotcha, I post live every day on server rooms? Okay. Anyways, you just show me a picture or something and we'll take a look at it. But really what we need something to tell us if that particular swing is going to continue. Okay, so what are the main differences between crypto and stock trading, exchanging, investing? Well, so here's the thing is I think you want to look at a market. I think it's better to trade in a market where you can see all of the information. So I don't trade stocks, I trade futures, and I trade interest rate futures. So when you trade the E-mini, for instance, the E-mini is an index, and so it's based off of the composite of a ton of different information. I can look at people buying and selling and how many, market buys versus market sells there are in the E-mini, but it can totally go against what the index is doing. But the interest rates are kind of like their own isolated commodity, and I only care about what the treasuries are doing. And I can look at every resting order, and I can look at every market order that hits the exchange, and I can make decisions based off of that. And that's the basis of my trading, right? You want to be in a place where you're as close to parity as you can on information. When you're doing individual stocks, it's really hard because the specialists have so much information. So if I go over and I look at cryptocurrencies, that actually has a lot of really great things, right? You can see the resting orders on the exchange. You can see the market orders. There aren't as many really great tools for cryptocurrencies like there are for futures, but you can make your own and you can kind of rig things together and you can make things work. So that's really great. There's a lot of really attractive things about cryptocurrencies, but there's one really big problem. And that is the whales. The whales are so much a part of the cryptocurrency market and outweigh everybody else so much. And they all tend to go the same direction that it's almost impossible to gain an edge out of that. Because at that point, how do you predict when the whale is going to come in? It's random. They just come in and they pick and choose. And honestly, a lot of what they're doing at lately, it seems, is they're getting everybody to go one particular direction, and then they're pushing it against them to stop them out. That's not a fair market that you can have a very difficult time making money in on a day trading basis, right? Markets are fairly easy due to binary outcomes. Yeah. But the problem is that there's a lot of inputs, right? Like you're right that there's only two outputs. You either made money or you lost money. But then there's how much money did you win or lose? Which price do you take? What time do you take it? These things all matter a lot. It's really easy. It's actually quite easy to go in and say, okay, well, we're going to move up today. I have some pretty good stats that I can tell you if the day is going to be an up day or a down day. But can I, within 4 ticks of accuracy, pick a spot to buy and be safe and go, stay long in, that's hard. So crypto is more like a gambling thing. You get me? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, in the long term, it's a little bit of a different thing. Like if you invest in cryptocurrencies, then basically what you're doing is you're taking a very high risk trade or a very high risk investment. It's okay. I'm not involved in the cryptocurrency sphere right now because they never gave me the prices that I considered to be, good risk reward, and so I'm staying out for now. They are getting a lot of volume out. I wonder if some of that volume is going to show up now on my chart. Let's see. So the other day it gave me 120 is what my output number was. And anything above 100 is overbought in my opinion. So he says I'm done for the day. So you took it off, huh? Oh, well, it kind of moved around. What did it do? They really reversed there. So what exit price did you get? No, I'm not getting a new data point yet. So we're still at 120. I'm going to post this. It's so much easier for me to post now because you can do image galleries. So I can upload this first one. $31st Bitcoin, and then add the rest of them. Found an article about whales. New word. Oh yeah, the whales in Bitcoin are man. 10 mysterious crypto whales influence Bitcoin prices. There you go. So that's where I was saying yesterday or the day before, there was some money just come out of nowhere, new wallets, huge amounts moving all over the place. And then they locked it up into the Liquid network. So that money can show up at any exchange and you'd never know it. And you don't know what they're going to use it for. Margin trading or what? I got a sell signal at 30.11.25. I mean, I was just guessing and all. Okay. I mean, that was a good trade, Ace. We got... Here's the thing. Finished the yard, finally. So that's all done with. I mean, I'm still doing stuff with it, but now it's like planting plants and stuff like that. The hard work is done. My wife is pregnant, so that's going to be a thing, but not until February. But so we kind of have some time. I think we want to do like a baby shower at some point. So I'm thinking that in August we'll have like a party, and I think that you guys that are close, I can give you the information in private and we can have our party. So I think we can do that. But I would like to meet up with you before that. It's just kind of a question of when now, but I'm really interested to know what it is that you're looking for in the E-mini, because it seems like when I'm looking here in the Treasuries, I'm looking for something that tells me that they've overextended and that there's trapped traders. And every time that I kind of look for something similar in the E-mini, it doesn't work. And you always seem to catch it. So it seems like you have the thing that I'm looking for. But we need to get together and you can explain it to me or show me or something, because man, you just get so good. Such good positions sometimes. When they run, they run. I'll come shower that baby, warning the air so slippery. Oh man. I'm guessing that Ace has a lot of really good dad jokes with his kids, because he's always pulling them out on us. But we just, I have this nice, lovely yard it would be a shame not to bring a ton of people over now, right? And I also think that we should try and set up some trader meetups because there's a decent number of Utah folks, right? So we could maybe try and have just like a get together for traders too. But anyways, yeah, I don't know if you ever gave me your email, but leave me an email and maybe we can schedule something. We still got 10 minutes here. We will. I got a lot of things going on, but I think about spending time with you, going over what I do. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd like to see, and I'd also really be interested in how you arrived at it too. This is something that's interesting to me. Is like, if you find an edge, how did you find the edge? What is it that What are kind of the thought processes or the things to investigate that will lead people to something that is profitable, that thing that 90% of us never seem to find for some reason, anyways, I think that this thing that I found here is a really good edge. It's been working out really well so far, at least. We'll see you at the FOMC today. That'll be a really good test of it because this could be super crazy. Oh, did you put a friend request? Okay, so the thing is I've been ignoring free Facebook requests because I don't know who is who. Like I don't know where they come from. Which one are you? Sometimes I get some really weird ones too. What's your first name? Are you staying home all day? Yeah, I'm going to stay home all day. I took the day off. So I think what we're going to do here is when the London close happens, so I want to see if they're going to go past that 17.5, yesterday's high. And then we'll shut it down, I think. And then I'm going to do some programming until the FOMC. And then we'll do the FOMC. And then we'll take another big break. And then we're going to do the freaking debate, which is, oh my gosh. The freaking debate is like, yeah. Well, it's the thing is I really ruined my Facebook. Like, let me show you some of the stuff that I get. Is like, well, I don't know if I want to show you. There's like other people on the screen. How can I go to a spot where there's nothing? I don't know if it matters, but like I've got like several dozen friend requests in here, and I don't know who these people are. Most of these, I just like basically just ignore them because I added a lot of people from like the rave community. And so you get so many crazy, like, yeah, you get a lot of spam and stuff like that because of it. And then some of these people I get from like when I was single, like I get people from like other countries. One says, I'll see you later. Okay, thank you for stopping by again. I had a lot of chats, so. That Facebook group Trader Room turned weird. Oh, which one are you talking about? I created one group. Where is it? Groups. Groups. Near you. Suggestions. Groups you're in. Groups you manage. Here we go. How do I manage those ones? Oh, man. So like I made a Utah Day Traders group, right? Oh, there's people that want to join this group. It didn't tell me. Well, we'll add them. Approve. 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 So I get tons of those. Social medias are getting weirder and weirder. I don't like that. Yeah. Well, I think that Facebook in particular needs to change their algorithm. What it shows me, the one where you posted the updated office with the new light. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that group is weird, dude. The Facebook groups for traders are weird. Like which one? This one, the S&P 500 E-mini futures one, is like. So let's go through and look here. Okay, so here's some people looking for stuff. Okay, here we go. Look, this guy is in a big, good, profitable trade. Go. Question. Here's somebody posting a blog thing. Oh, look, they made 10 points. Here's all. This guy had 3 winners and 1 losers. It's like you only ever see winning trades in here, you know. But then it's like, yeah, but what's your stats over a year? Maybe we should post that. I would love to see people post like a whole year, but then I would probably need to post my own for a whole year. And they're kind of flaky at best, right? Oh, so are you on this list? Do you see yourself here in this list? Yes, I think that is it. It is full of crap. People trying to sell stuff. Yeah, it's like people trying to sell stuff. Oh man, that Vinny guy, he was in there a ton until they kicked him out, I think. He's still on Twitter. You ever see him on Twitter, man? Look at here on Twitter. Where is it? You know, if I look at like the ZN, always tons of stuff from them. Oh, they've actually quieted down. Or maybe it was not the ZN, maybe it was the ZB. Lebanon has been tweeting a lot lately. He's a nice guy. I think he's actually come in here a few times. Go faster down the list. What's your first name? When I really get down here, I have. Oh no, those are people you may know. That's too far. Okay, here's the bottom of it. See, so some of these, so like this one, for instance. Oriel Garchard. Fake person. Not a real person. You're from France and you're adding me? Like what? Only a few little things? They're not a real person. They're a bot. They've created an account and they're going to sit and wait forever. Mm-mm-mm. 5 more minutes here. Oh, they're touching 17.5 again. Anyways. He's on that list somewhere, folks. Um... 17.5. You would definitely have gotten filled at 17.5 now. It's kind of interesting. The way that they left that liquidity behind at 16 too. Wonder when they pushed through that, did they show anything kind of? Well, there was some liquidity there, and they just kind of muscled their way through it. I saw it. You saw your name on there, but you're not going to tell me which one it is, huh? So I can click confirm. I suppose I could go through and I could delete all of my requests and then you can add in another one and then I can add it. That would be a lot of work though. This opening range indicator sometimes doesn't work. Not that it will help, but I was the handsome man with the kid in the middle of the pack. Oh. That blonde-haired kid? Mm. Hello on the handsome part. Yep, blonde. And then what else is something I'm here on the page? Somebody that died. Picture of a waffle. That's I see a picture of a waffle and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's him. Oh, that's funny, dude. Oh, that was so freaking great, dude. Does it send you a notification that you just got accepted or whatever? Don't make it weird, bros. Okay, I got it. Yeah, we'll talk. I'll message you like tomorrow. We'll set something up today. Here's the thing. You ever get this? This is kind of one of those weird irrational beliefs that I have. Like it seems to me like it's irrational, or that it would probably be irrational, but when I look at it, I can't help but see it. But it seems to me that time seems to function in chunks, and that there will be this ending period. There will be this ending period where it's like everything kind of converges together. All of the storylines that you've got going on in your life and going on in the economy and stuff all seem to come together at a certain time. And it's like they always converge at the same point. So like if you're in school, there will be like that one day where there's the big test. And that's when everybody has the big test, and it comes down to that, right? And when you have a period like that, it's really hard to look past that date. So for this chunk of time, today is the day, right? It's the FOMC, and there's the Democrat debate. Like, there's tons of reasons that today is an important time period, right? And then, like, the next set is like another stage, like, who knows what it is. So let's get through today. and then we'll look at the future. But, man, the waffle thing is funny. Okay. Well, it is 9:30, so I am going to shut things down, take a little break, and do some programming. And I will be back about 10 minutes before the FOMC statement. Should be fun. Thank you guys for watching. I had a good discussion today, and we caught a good trade. Only one trade, and it was a +4. I think that's a good day, especially considering how really slow it was. And this whole thing, well, I don't know if I really want to catch that or not, but we'll continue to look at that one and see if we can figure that out, if we should be holding that or not. All right, so I will catch you guys later. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.